Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is Katelyn from Florals.com and today I'm back with Crafty Maggie doing our 6x6 fix series. And you guys know I love doing these scrap layouts where I take scraps from a 6x6 paper pad and pretty much use them up. And if you guys remember, I did one of these last month, and then the month before that I did a different 8.5 by 11, and the previous month was 12 by 12. So hopefully you guys appreciate another look at this. So this paper pad only had one full 6x6 left in it, so I decided to try to use it up if I could. And there's also something to be said about scraps. I know it's a very personalized decision depending on what you like to use and how big your stash is and what you like to keep, but I don't keep every single ounce of my scraps. If they are patterns I don't love, if they are patterns that are simply just a small cutoff, I won't keep every little bit. However, I do always recycle whatever I don't use or can't use on my projects. So be mindful of the waste you're producing, and as always, try to recycle when you can so that we can eliminate the byproducts that come from a paper crafting hobby such as this one. But there are so many great things you can do with your scraps, and hopefully today you'll get some new ideas. And I particularly love 6x6 paper pads. They're something I use on almost every single one of my layouts. I love using them for layering under my photos, which you'll see here. I start layering my little 3x4 on this beautiful, like, surreal background. It's almost like a bokeh background, but there's only one star beam in it. But it's got this beautiful transition with the pinks and the blues, and I, for the life of me, could not figure out why this paper didn't look straight. I don't know if I cut it by hand or what, but I ended up trimming all the sides to make it look better, and I'm pretty sure it still looked crooked, so maybe it was the photo after all. But I do end up just trimming that down. And I like that it has this sort of rainbow look to it because I have an ice cream photo with a polka dot rainbow cup. And you guys might also notice that one of the scraps is ice cream and popsicles, and then another one is just popsicles, and I end up using both on this layout, which is perfect because of the theme of this ice cream. And some of you guys might already know, especially if you're my patrons, because you've already gotten sneak peeks, but I have started another cruise album. So we went on a cruise earlier this year before everything started with the pandemic, so I'm really glad I got a vacation in this year because so many people won't be able to do a normal vacation or anything normal this year. But hopefully you guys are staying in there and staying well and staying healthy as best as you can. And we had a lovely time, and this is an ice cream shop we went to after the cruise while we were sort of looking around for dinner. We did a lot of fun stuff that day. I think we got to our hotel area pretty late, and we didn't know what we wanted for dinner, and we were walking around, and then you find an ice cream shop, and then you have ice cream for dinner. And if that's not vacation, I don't know what is. But we went to this little Sprinkles ice cream shop, and it was very expensive. It was like some of them like handmade gourmet sort of types of ice cream, but it was really delicious and, again, very cute. So I did take a picture of my ice cream in my cup and the outside of the building. And again, it's like really dark outside, so this was like a late night dinner option, but it really worked. And I wanted to make this an 8.5 by 11 layout. Not for any particular reason other than I like mixing up layouts in my albums. I've actually gotten quite a few questions about how I determine how many photos go on a page or what size layout I do, and it's really just all not based off of anything. If I have too many 4x6 photos, I go for a double. If I can fit the 2 or 3 4x6 photos, whether they're trimmed down or not, onto a 12 by 12, I do that. And if I think it's sort of a smaller story and doesn't need a 12 by 12 canvas, it usually ends up being an 8.5 by 11. And if it's really, really cool and I want it to stand out, but it's a smaller story still, I often do a special pocket page insert, whether that's a 6 by 8, a 4 by 6 style, or even one of those like 12 by 4s or one of the other fun shapes. But here you can see I am just layering up my patterns, and this is a really great way to use up scraps, guys, is doing these panels on the right or left side of your photo and creating a base for them. So I created a base out of this shiplap paper and then did that fun rainbow one on the left-hand side. And then I did some simple layers underneath the photos themselves, and then I added some extra weight to the right-hand side with those few 6-inch strips that I had left. So that teal and that ice cream paper really helped the right-hand side have a little bit more fun. And I really wanted to scrapbook this photo with my kit because I had some ice cream themed items in it. So I have an ice cream themed paper clip and an ice cream themed flare, and they just worked really, really well on this layout. You guys might have also noticed while I was talking about this experience, I added 3 different types of washi tape to this layout. I love adding washi tape to all of my layouts whenever I can, and I will end up adding a little bit more actually later on. But here I'm just looking through my kit, and I didn't do a full in-depth kit share, but you guys kind of remember perhaps me using this kit previously. Lots and lots of colors, lots of bright colors, lots of tropical themes, and what I end up pulling out is some florals, a little LE Studio journaling piece that says noted because I really like that teal blue and it matching the washi tape on the right hand side. And there were also a lot of summer themed pieces. So when you go on vacation, it's often very nice weather, but it's not always summer. And that's where I'm kind of in a pickle with some of these things, is it's not summertime, but it feels like summertime because at this time we were vacationing in Florida. But it's just so interesting how you think they could fit the theme, but then it says hello summer and you're like, ugh, that doesn't fit the theme because it's not summertime. But here I'm just going to start working on a cluster to the right, top right of my photos. And then I'll also have a cluster to the top left of my photos, which is kind of unusual for me to do 2 competing clusters like that, but I help balance it out by adding a cluster on the bottom section of the photos here with the start of these flowers. These cute little flowers are just from Doodlebug. I think they're precious, and I love Doodlebug, especially their Chit Chat packs that are less cutesy than some of their actual die cut packs with little characters with cute eyeballs and things like that. So I try to use their products that are more, you know, they're hyper realistic in terms of their cutesy still, but they say realistic phrases, they're flowers, they're easier shapes to use rather than a cute coffee that has eyeballs, which wouldn't work for my normal layouts because I don't drink coffee. But nonetheless, I need to start thinking about a layout or a title for the layout. And then I come across this wonderful chipboard piece from Paige Evans that says, "Eat dessert first." And it just worked so well for this story, being that, well, ice cream was for dinner and that's just how we roll. But I think it was so funny to use that as the title. I also grabbed a second Paige Evans chipboard piece, those stacking bowls to the bottom right. I always eat my ice cream in a cup because I'm not a huge fan of ice cream cones. And I also eat ice cream really slowly, so cones kind of counter efficient for me. But I really do love how this turned out, and I plan on adding some of the journaling next to the title right there, like I was just pointing out, and adding the date to that little noted piece that I put in the left cluster. So this is a very centralized clustered layout. I think it still really works, even though everything's tightly woven together, because you have those flowers bringing you across into a visual triangle to all the various components. And while this is a rainbow style layout, there's still plenty of pops of pink to help you move throughout, and also those pops of yellow and orange that I really like. And I don't mind mixing metallics. That Paige Evans chipboard is copper, but I'm using some gold phrase stickers and of course my gold paper clip. It all works out in the end, and those minor details are things that I could overlook for the sake of a theme of a layout. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure you check out all the links down below, including Maggie's. But we now have a finished 6x6 paper pad, and I did toss 2 smaller scraps just because I knew I wouldn't use them now that the paper pad's almost complete, but I can put another empty on my list, and you guys can check out all the links down below, again, including Maggie's layout process that you guys don't want to miss, as well as including additional resources for the Black Lives Matter movement for taking action and getting educated. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys!